Hey, welcome back, or rather welcome to our very first cat dedicated video. Have you ever wondered why so many cats suffer from urinary tract illnesses and kidney disease? Why is it so common that most of us consider it to be unavoidable and perfectly normal? I'll let you in on a little secret. They're not normal at all. So what can you do to avoid these chronic illnesses in your cat? What should you be feeding them based on fact, not marketing fiction? That bag of convenient dry kibble holds all the answers. So stick around and your cat will thank you for it. Well, as much as any cat can say thank you anyway. Well, if you've watched any of our other videos, they're all focusing on dog foods and species-appropriate feeding for canines. But due to the large amount of requests we've had, I promise I'm going to spend more time in the cat food section of the pet store to really unpack all of the marketing BS that exists here too. Just the same as what I do in the dog food section. If you've got a dog, this video is still for you. There are similarities across the two species with only a couple of key differences. So I'll stop talking and get to the good stuff. Cats unite. A real food does exist for you guys as well. Now, this video is very much an introduction to feeding your cat a species-appropriate diet. And I'm going to go over the really high-level stuff that I'm hoping will spark your interest enough for you to want to learn more. Pretty much today is all about the good, the bad, and the plain ugly when it comes to their food. In this case, this stuff, dry kibble. This video is really just to give you some basic facts to get you thinking and asking more questions rather than just believing all of those unsubstantiated cat food marketing claims like hairball removal. So cat people, please hit that like and subscribe. There will be a hell of a lot more information coming for you guys soon. Now, you probably know the most common way of feeding cats and dogs out there is dry food or kibble, this stuff. But is this food that you are feeding your cat actually making them sick? Here is a big question for you. Why are so many cats and dogs, obviously, seriously overweight? And why do cats in particular suffer from diseases like kidney stones, urinary tract infections, diabetes, and tooth decay? And more to the point, why does almost everyone think this is just a normal part of owning a cat? Or a dog, for that matter? The answer to this is heartbreaking to me. It's because these types of chronic diseases are so common now, and we've been desensitized and numbed into thinking they're actually inevitable. Hang around and I'll explain why they're not inevitable, and they're not a done deal. In fact, most are completely preventable, and no surprises here for that Watch Our channel. Diet is everything. Well, let me start at the beginning. There are some biological facts you should be aware of. The first and most important thing you should know is cats are obligate carnivores. That is, they need meat to survive. And that's all cats, from the fluffy feline curled up next to you to the wild tigers out there. They need protein that's sourced from animals. They need meat, not just to thrive, but to survive. Your cat cannot get his nutritional needs from carbohydrates like rice or corn or soy. They have evolved to metabolize these meat proteins in different unique ways in comparison to dogs. Think about what a cat would eat in the wild. They hunt small animals like mice or birds. Lots of protein, lots of fat, minimal to no carbohydrates other than what's in the stomach of their prey. Unlike their dog friends, they require a lot more protein in comparison. Just fun fact, the cat's minimum protein requirement is 29% to survive. In comparison, it's just 12% for dogs to survive. So the next thing you need to know is in the wild, they have a very little desire to drink water. They get most of their moisture from whatever they've killed. Domesticated cats often don't like drinking water out of a bowl, and most are in a constant state of chronic dehydration. Have you ever seen a cat drinking like this from a tap? This is very unnatural behaviour, and yet you see it in dry-fed cats quite a lot. Wild cats have evolved to eat multiple small meals during the day to satisfy their thirst, and this is really important to think about when it comes to urinary tract disease. Cats that eat this way, that is multiple meals, are much more likely to have a normal urinary pH level. Not too acidic, not too alkaline. Too alkaline can form struvite crystals, and too far the other way, acidic can form calcium oxalate crystals. A balanced urinary pH occurs just by eating multiple high-protein small meals throughout the day. And this is where you are thinking, I've got this covered. I leave a bowl full of kibble and my cats snack on all the time. Wrong. Why? Well, cats that are allowed to free feed, that is graze all day whenever they feel like it, suffer from crazy blood sugars, highs and lows. Cats have a very short colon, which means it's almost impossible for them to break down starches and carbohydrates. They lack an enzyme that is produced in the liver called glucanase. This is required to break down and metabolize blood sugar glucose. So each time he eats a meal high in carbs, his blood sugar is going to spike. He physically can't break it down. When this happens, his pancreas steps up to the plate and tries to produce enough insulin, except it can't. And then what do we end up with? Unfortunately, over time, a diabetic cat. This is why there seems to be an epidemic of diabetic cats out there. And it's simple biology. They're all eating way too many carbs and their bodies can't cope. And it's from the dry, carb-loaded kibble. The other problem with this style of snacking throughout the day is dental disease, plaque and tartar build-up that is so common because of one simple reason. They take a couple of bites and the food stays in their mouths. Over time, these carbs break down into starches and then into sugars. And guess what causes all these teeth problems? Sugars. And no, dental kibble is just a marketing trip. It does not work. It's a trick. But the other topic for another day, that is, if you're interested to check out the video on dental kibble, it talks all about dogs' mouths, but the exact same problems happen in cats' mouths for the exact same reasons as dogs. Check that one out if you want to know more. Now, no matter what brand or price, from Friskies to Royal Canin, all kibble is based on carbs. Did you know that many of the high protein kibbles that you often pay a heck of a lot more for are based on high plant-based proteins like peas, legumes or soy? And these plant-based proteins are just as hard for your cat to digest and metabolize. They can't. A heck of a lot of cat food out there uses soy as its main ingredient, unfortunately. It's cheaper than meat and it fulfills the needs for a carbohydrate to hold the kibble together. But here's the kicker. Soy has been proven to disrupt thyroid production, leading to all sorts of other illnesses in your cat's body. So, in summary, cats fed on dry kibble are in a constant state of dehydration due to its low moisture content. Meat contains about 75% moisture, whereas kibble contains less than 10%. This leads to all those urinary tract illnesses and kidney disease. Cats eating a high carbohydrate diet are putting their bodies under constant stress and exposing your cat to diabetes and obesity. Most cats are not fed enough protein, and it's the wrong types of proteins like soy or peas, causing all sorts of problems with their thyroids, a key player in your cat's overall health and well-being. And if your cat has been diagnosed with kidney stones or urinary tract illness, have a closer look at that bag of prescription kibble. Seems counterintuitive to feed an already ill animal under stress more of the stuff that has caused his illness in the first place. Read the labels, people, please. So you're sitting there and asking, well, what should they really be eating? A diet consisting of meat and organs and absolutely no carbohydrates, including things like sweet potato, grains or soy. Skip the veggies and go straight for real meat. Tinned wet foods are by far a better choice than a bag of dry kibble. Their need for moisture and proteins will be met 10 times over in comparison to that bag of dry food. Just check for added carbs. Ditch the kibble. Your cat will thank you for it, hopefully. Live longer and healthier life, and at the end of the day, that's what we all want. Hey, welcome back. My name is Audra. Are you interested in how you can boost your cat's health in 3 easy steps? Have you done a little research and now thinking about changing your cat or kitten's diet from dry kibble to a healthy, natural, raw or cooked diet, but don't know how to overcome their fussiness or even how to start? Firstly, I applaud you for doing some research to make the best choices for your kitten or adult cat. It's so hard to cut through all the marketing noise when it comes to feeding your animals. I completely understand. Today, I will go through the steps you should take and the foods you should introduce first so you can then move on to easily start making a healthy, balanced meal or diet that they will love and ditch that carb-loaded kibble for good. Okay, you've heard that bag of complete and balanced cat food is all you'll ever need to feed them, right? Wrong! I've done another video on why kibble is so harmful for our cat's health, and I go into the topic at length, so check that one out. It's linked below. But just to summarise why kibble is not in any way great food for your cat, Yes, it's the most common way of feeding cats, and dogs for that matter, but this food you're feeding your cat could actually be making them sick. Here's a really big question to have a think about. Why are so many cats and dogs seriously overweight, and why do cats in particular suffer from diseases like kidney stones, urinary tract infections, diabetes and tooth decay? And why does almost everyone think this is just a normal part of owning a cat, or a dog for that matter? These types of chronic diseases are so common now that we've become completely desensitized and numbed into thinking they're inevitable. And yes, the very short answer is what they're eating for the greater part is causing these illnesses. So let me start at the beginning. There are some biological facts you should be aware of. The first and most important thing you should know is cats are obligate carnivores. That is, they need meat. Simple. They need protein that's sourced from animals. Your cat cannot get all of his nutritional needs from carbohydrates like rice or corn. They have evolved to metabolize these meat proteins in a different, unique way in comparison to dogs, who are actually omnivores. That is, they can digest plant matter foods, and cats simply can't. Think about what a cat would eat in the wild. They hunt small animals like mice or birds. Lots of protein, lots of fat, minimal to no carbohydrates other than what's in the stomach of their prey. A diet that is low in quality animal proteins and high in carbs and starches puts your cat's entire body under stress. And sadly, the result of this is a pandemic of sick and suffering animals. You had me at hello, I hear you say. Well, let's start to nourish your cat's entire body the best way we know how. Through food, of course. Today, I'm going to show you step by step how to introduce your cat or kitten to what real food looks and tastes like, and how you can prepare it yourself at home. And it's an easy concept, but unfortunately sometimes it can take a lot longer than you would like. Do not give up. The end game is for your cat to avoid all these incredibly sad and common chronic illnesses. And it's all about the food. Even though they will probably not talk to you in the beginning, stay strong. Your cat can protest all they like, because at the end of the day, you love them, right? Before I go on, just a quick explanation as to why it can be such a challenge to change your cat's food. They're amazingly good at survival. They are imprinted in utero. That is, they instinctively will only initially eat what their mother ate while she was pregnant with them. Super smart from a survival point of view, I'd say. If mum ate this, I can eat this. Flip it over to the human children who literally eat everything and anything they can, from crayons to sand. When my son was a toddler, I caught him eating a cigarette butt he picked up off the ground. Mama cats never have this issue. Who's the smartest species here, I ask? They have a strong preference for taste, temperature and texture of their food. And this is important to remember, the 3 T's: taste, temperature and texture. Now, for those not familiar with a raw food diet, here are the most important benefits. Cats are obligate carnivores, as I've already mentioned. That is, they need meat and organs and bone to survive. And their digestive systems are simply built for this. They do not eat plant matter and definitely do not need any sort of carbohydrates or starches. On a raw or cooked meat-based diet, they will maintain a stable, healthy weight, have far smaller poops that don't smell terrible, have cleaner teeth, better urinary health, a healthier coat and more energy. For those litter box servants out there, I know I had you at less smelly poop. Okay, so the path to a healthier, happier cat is change out that carb-loaded kibble for a wet food diet. And this can be completely raw meats and organs that you prepare yourself, or a cooked version of the same. But there's a baby step in the middle that almost all cats will demand of you to get there. And yes, obviously cats, unlike dogs, do demand, as you would all know. Let's face it, we're all just their loyal servants, right? So the 3 stages are dry kibble to tinned wet food to raw, and onto your final goal, a completely raw or completely cooked balanced diet. Now, the most important thing you need to remember with this transition process is patience. Some cats make the switch fairly quickly, over a week or 2. Others may take literally months. So just hang in there. Don't let your cat out-stubborn you. The first thing you need to do is stop free feeding your cat dry food. That is, leaving it out for them to snack on all day. Instead, offer your cat 2 or 3 small meals a day. Your cat will start to get a little hungry, which is to your advantage, obviously. Leave the bowl out for about 20 minutes or so. This will teach them that it's not going to be there whenever they fancy a snack, and it also lets them associate you with food, something that is not the case for free feed cats. For all they know, being the godlike creatures they believe themselves to be, that the all-you-can-eat buffet was simply willed into existence. Now, don't despair, this is the hardest step. Kibble is very addictive for a couple of reasons. The manufacturers have a couple of sneaky tricks to hook them in on it like a drug addict. And I'm not exaggerating, the drug addict example, unfortunately, your cat simply doesn't stand a chance. The highly processed kibble contains many ingredients, as you would know by looking at the label, and more often than not you will see hydrolyzed animal protein. This may also be called animal digest or meat meal on the label. The reason why cats become addicted is, surprisingly, monosodium glutamate, or MSG. This nasty chemical can be formed during the hydrolytic breakdown of proteins, and it's in these meals and digests. And as you may know, MSG is a very effective flavour enhancer. It actually stimulates the brain receptors, basically making them vibrate, causing that feeling of contentment and making the food seem much tastier than it really is. Your cat is getting their endorphin rush after every mouthful of kibble. Now, you've probably turned that bag over and checked to see that there is MSG added or not. Nope, can't see any MSG, can't see anything. Phew, right? Horrid labelling laws and their loopholes, unfortunately. When MSG is added to foods and it's present in a protein meal or digest, it does not need to be declared on the label. You may see meat meal, meat digest and hydrolyzed animal protein, then unfortunately you've got a bag full of MSG. Okay, so we've stopped free feeding. We're only offering meals a couple of times a day. Next step is to start by choosing a high quality grain-free canned food that is high in protein. The key to this transition is to do it gradually. I'd recommend offering a ratio of 70% of their kibble and 30% of the wet food each meal. Offer the two foods in separate bowls next to each other. When you see your cat eating the wet food, gradually decrease the kibble and replace it with the wet tin food. Keep chipping away at it until your cat is eating 100% wet food only. If at the beginning your cat refuses to eat the wet food completely, take a small amount of it and mix it through the dry kibble. Just like the dry food, take it all away after the 20 minutes or so. If they're refusing to eat, don't panic, they won't starve themselves, but you may have to try a different brand to see if they like that a little better. A healthy cat can go for 12 to 24 hours without eating, so don't let them fool you. During this stage, you may notice your cat might get diarrhea. This is normal as their gut is adjusting to a higher protein and less carbohydrate diet. After your cat is enjoying their wet food and all the kibble has been removed, stay on this diet for a week or so. The next step is the same concept as the first, gradually introducing raw meat or cooked. I'll do other videos with recipes and formulas, so please like and subscribe so you don't miss out on these ones coming up. But for this process, simply choose an easy to digest protein like chicken. Okay, offer the two foods in separate bowls next to each other. When you see your cat eating the wet food, gradually decrease the kibble and replace it with the wet tin food. Keep chipping away at it until your cat is eating 100% of the wet food only. If at the beginning your cat refuses to eat the wet food, take a small amount and mix it through the dry kibble like this. Then take away the food after about 20 minutes. Just a little flavour. So all you want to do is mix it in very gently like that, just so the cat gets the idea of the smell. Done. Now, I just want to mention here again, please choose a really high quality tin food, which is natural meat and grain free. Always go for the grain free. Check your ingredients, please. Okay, start with 30% of their meal being chicken and 70% of it being their tin food. Offer them in separate bowls just like before. Keep increasing the ratio of raw until you reach 100% and have removed all the tin food completely. Once again, if they're a little picky at the beginning, you can mix a little of the tin food together with raw. Start with 30% of their meal being chicken and 70% being the tin food. Offer them in separate bowls just like before. Keep increasing the ratio of raw until you reach 100% and have removed all the tin food altogether. Once again, if they're a little picky at the beginning, you can mix a little of the tin food with the raw just to get the cats interested. Let's go back a bit. Remember those 3 T's: taste, texture and temperature. If you've been gifted the world's fussiest cat, now is the time to pull out one or all of these tricks. In fact, pull out the entire bag of tricks if you need to. Taste. Maybe he doesn't like the taste of one or one type of meat. Try a different brand or a different protein. Texture. The size, shape and texture of the food may not be to his liking. Try cutting it up smaller, mincing the foods together or offering larger chunks. Temperature. Offer the food straight from the fridge, offer the food at room temperature, or try warming it through initially slightly. Experiment. This little bit of effort may make all the difference and speed up the process for you and your cat. Now, it's really important for me to mention that this video is nothing about how complete and balanced diet looks like. It's simply a transitional process, a means to an end. A balanced raw or cooked diet for cats looks a little bit like this. 85% meats, with 15% of this being heart for taurine, as cats cannot produce taurine in their own bodies, 10% organs or offal, and 5% raw bone. There are also some supplements that need to be added, like iodine or vitamin E oil. I won't go into this formula too much today. That's a topic for several other videos later. Okay, so there you have it, the 3 stages to transition your cat onto a better, healthier diet. Once they're happily eating the raw or cooked meat, it's time to think about offering a raw meaty bone, like a chicken neck, for example. These are fantastic starter bones, as they are perfect size, easy to source, and 100% edible. Those little vertebrae are tiny and soft, making them perfect for your cat's jaw to crush. Don't worry about your cat's ability to digest bone matter. They have a highly acidic stomach that will simply turn that bone into digestible jelly. The added bonus of these necks is that will help to firm up your cat's poo. Just a quick note, never ever feed your cat any types of cooked or dehydrated bones. Cooked and those dehydrated bones that you can get at most pet stores will splinter and can cause all sorts of problems and suffering. Please, raw bones only. Okay, beautiful edible starter bones for cats that I like to add to their meal are chicken necks or chicken wing tips. Both are completely digestible and readily available and cheap. Also, as well, these are chicken hearts. Now, it's important to note with cats that they can't produce taurine in their bodies, and hearts are really nutrient dense, packed in taurine, so it's vital for them to get heart in their diet as well. Just to mention again, this is the process to take. It's not a diet for the long term. I'll do another video soon on making your own healthy and complete and balanced meals. That's the next stage in your cat's journey to health and happiness, and maybe they'll start talking to you again too. Thanks for being here, animal lovers. Don't forget to give us a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more helpful content. See you in the next video. Hey, welcome back. Audrey here from chica+co. I visited 2 of our largest pet store chains this week to see what was available out there for cats in the fresh food section. Aisle upon aisle of bags of dry kibble, yes, but only a couple of choices for cats when it came to pre-made raw food meals. And this made me stop and think, why do we believe that a bowl of dry kibble is all we need to keep our cats healthy? Here's my top 8 reasons why your cat should ditch that ultra-processed dry stuff. Fast food or real food? What's the difference? Hang around, you'll be surprised, and your cat will thank you for it. So let me start at the beginning. There are some biological facts you should be aware of. The first and most important thing that you should know is cats are obligate carnivores. That is, they need meat. They need proteins that's sourced from animals. Your cat cannot get all of his nutritional needs from carbohydrates like, for example, rice or corn. They've evolved to metabolize these meat proteins in a different and quite unique way in comparison to dogs, who are actually omnivores. That is, they can digest plant-based foods. Cats simply cannot. Think about what a cat would eat in the wild. They hunt smaller animals like mice or birds, lots of protein, lots of fat, minimal to no carbohydrates other than what's in the stomach of their prey. Raw flesh, organs and bones have been the sole source of nutrients for felines for millennia. We have the fossils to prove this. But since the 1950s, pet owners switched to feeding their felines a processed dry food kibble. It's interesting to see here that Purina's first go at cat food used a grain milling company to produce their very first line of dry cat food. It has since become the standard way of feeding our cats, to the point where the idea of feeding them something like raw meat has become almost inconceivable ideas to many owners. Today I want to go through my top 8 reasons. Oh, and by the way, there are a lot more than just 8. I thought I'd summarise it down for you. Why real foods are a better alternative for your cat, with number 8 being especially important in my opinion. So be sure to stick around till the end. Cats are obligate carnivores, as I've already mentioned. A carnivore is an animal that feeds on the flesh of other animals. The word obligate simply means by necessity. This means that cats are flesh-eating species and meat is biologically essential for their survival. Now, here's where things get interesting, and if this is the only takeout you get by watching this video, it's plain and simple. Dry cat food is predominantly made from plant-based foods like rice, peas, and corn. I have never seen a wild lion chowing down on a corn cob. Cats, that is all cats, including your gorgeous fluffy house cat, metabolize protein, which results in a relatively stable blood glucose level. When consuming carbs, this peaks the blood sugar levels and creates the risk of diabetes further down the line for your cat. The natural prey of cats containing around 55% protein, including bone matter, 45% fat, and only 1 to 2% of carbs. On a dry matter basis, that means it's just measured when all the moisture has been removed from all of the ingredients in the food, dry cat food ranges from a whopping 30 to 60% carbohydrate. If your cat only needs 1 or 2% of this nutrient, why is it making up half or even more of these ingredients? Again, the key takeout here is feed your cats foods they can digest and thrive on. If you're enjoying this content and you want us to keep producing these sorts of things, please like and subscribe to our channel. Thank you. Number 2, smaller, less smelly poop. As you are the litter box keeper, do you want less crap to clean up? As just mentioned, dry food is made up of ingredients that your cat's body cannot utilise, so there will be a lot of waste coming back out after eating it. When cats are fed a diet that their digestive systems were specifically designed to process, their poop will not only be smaller, but there'll also be less odour. And I'm with you here, less is more in both the volume and the smell factors. So why is this the case? Because the cat's digestive system is absorbing all of the nutrients in the raw meat, bone and organs and expel only a bare minimum of waste. Kibble-fed cats usually poop 1 or 2 times a day in comparison to raw-fed cats. They only might poop once a day or even less often than that. It's a case of a quantity over quality, or quality over quantity rather. Winner, winner, a litter box cleaner. Cat with a K, I love you, but enough is enough. Number 3, no artificial preservatives. At first glance, kibble bags can really lure you in with glossy pictures of chunks of real meat and fish. This can easily make you think that these convenient little crunchy dried balls contain all of these fresh foods shown on the bag. But if you look closer, things start to look a lot different. First of all, the images on the packages can be deceiving, as many kibble brands use meat byproducts as their food's protein source, rather than that juicy human-grade steak you usually see plastered all over the front. Unfortunately, this beautiful meat is safe for humans. Pets get the remains that are leftovers from parts like beaks, feathers, and other discarded parts of animal carcasses. These are rendered down using chemicals and high heat to produce meat byproducts, meat meals, and the worst of the worst of the worst, meat digest. A side effect of the extreme processing of meat digest is actually MSG, and we all know that stuff is not good for you at all. The other little kicker here is that because MSG is actually a byproduct of the processing, it does not need to be listed on the ingredient panel. If you see meat digest on the ingredient panel, avoid this product. Just avoid it. Now, for those meats and fats to be preserved to the point where you can sit out for months without refrigeration, the food needs to contain some preservatives. One major preservative pet foods tend to use is ethoxyquin, which in other circumstances is used as a pesticide for crops. A not so fun fact, actually, is the packaging used to ensure these foods sit on shelves without spoiling for months or even years before opening. The plastic compounds used to make these bags contain a cocktail of chemicals designed as an airtight bacteria barrier and a bacteria neutralizer. I was shocked to read a report in a pet food forum journal recently that in many cases, the cost of producing these chemical-infused bags was actually more than the cost of producing the foods they contain. Think about that for a minute. The bag is more expensive than the food to make. Real foods do not have to be cooked, processed, dyed, preserved, or added with chemicals. Instead, it's in its fresh whole state where it can provide bioavailable nutrients, that is, the things you can eat and digest. Number 4, healthy weight maintenance. An estimated 60% of cats in developed countries like Australia and the United States are overweight or obese when their sole diet is a carb-heavy kibble. It's almost impossible to keep them at their desired healthy weight, especially when free-fed, that is, the bowl of food is left out for your cat to graze on whenever they walk past. Cats are better at metabolising animal fats than carbs, and fats also provide more energy per gram than carbs do. Carb-based dry food can also disrupt the signalling of hormones like insulin and leptin, which are important for controlling the appetite and help to prevent overeating. With a species-appropriate diet, your cat won't have to deal with the excess carbs and can better utilise the protein, healthy fats and nutrients that the raw food provides. It's like you skipping the deep-fried chippies and opting for healthy options. Number 5, lower the risk of diabetes. As mentioned previously, cats are less efficient at metabolising carbohydrates than many other mammals are. Almost all carbohydrates used in dry cat foods rank very high on the glycemic index. This index ranks how quickly and how high the food sources cause the blood sugar levels to spike after consumption. And this can wreak havoc on many cats' insulin balance, predisposing them to diabetes. Additionally, obesity is a major contribution to feline diabetes. Because of this, a raw diet won't just help maintain a healthy weight, it will in turn decrease the risk of diabetes in your beloved cats. Number 6, better dental health. Dental disease is one of the most common issues veterinarians see in cats, and according to a post made by Cornell Feline Health Centre, that is, it's a research facility based in the States. Actually, and for those interested, their website is a goldmine of real science-based studies that are not sponsored by the big commercial pet food companies. In other words, it's real, it's fact-checked, and it's peer-checked, and contains so much truthful nutritional information about cats. It's linked below. Please, if you're really interested in learning more about cat nutrition, check this one out. So, Cornell studies found between 50 to 90% of cats at 4 years of age or older suffer from some form of dental disease. Free feeding, that is leaving the bowl of dry food out all day, is a large contributor to this. The problem with this style of snacking throughout the day is dental disease, plaque and tartar build up. It's so common because of one simple reason. They take a couple of bites and the food stays in their mouths. Over time, these carbs break down into starches and sugars, and guess what causes all those teeth problems? Sugars. And no, dental kibble is just a marketing trick. It does not work. It's another topic for another day. If you're interested, check out the video I've already done on dental kibble. It's linked below. It talks about dogs' mouths, but the exact same problems happen in your cat's mouths for the exact same reasons as it does in dogs. When feeding a raw diet, you're eliminating carbohydrates. That can leave a starchy film all over the teeth that promote plaque buildup. Additionally, raw meaty bones act as a toothbrush when your cat bites down. The raw meaty bones scrape the teeth and can easily remove any tartar that may have accumulated. Funny about that, nature's toothbrush, hey? Number 7, a healthy coat and less shedding. For coat health, cats require retinol fatty acids like omega-3s and biotin in their diets. These nutrients are the most bioavailable through animal sources, as cats have a little ability to receive these nutrients from plant-based foods like vegetables or grains. I've talked about this already. These nutrients greatly contribute to healthy skin and coats, which also result in less shedding. Now, where are these omegas found naturally? Seafood. If you can't get fresh oily fish like sardines or greenlet mussels, you can supplement their diets with natural fish oils you can find in your human health food stores. And of note here, I said human. You can buy omega supplements branded and marketed as cat supplements, but you'll pay a lot more for them, and they may not have gone through the stringent trials and tests required for products for human consumption. So generally, for all of my nutrition clients, I'll always recommend human-grade supplements over pet-marketed supplements every single time. Just be sure to check the active ingredients. I always choose one designed for children, as it's a lower dose than those made for grown adults. It's not quite as strong. Number 8. 8 fingers, yes. Better urinary health. Bladders and kidneys perform optimally when more water is flowing through them, as this helps flush out the debris and keeps the urine diluted. In the wild, the feline's prey contains around 75 to 80% water. Since cats came from the desert where water is very scarce, they relied on their food as their main water source. Even though cats now live in all regions of the world, their thirst drive is still very low because, again, their bodies are acclimated to receive water from their food. Most kibble-fed cats are in a constant state of dehydration. Have you ever seen a cat drinking like this from a tap? This is a very unnatural behaviour, and yet you see it a lot in dry-fed cats. Cats have evolved to eat multiple small meals during the day, satisfying their thirst, and this is really important to think about when it comes to urinary tract disease. Cats that eat this way, that is multiple meals, are much more likely to have a normal urinary pH level. Not too acidic and not too alkaline. Too alkaline can form struvite crystals, and too far the other way, acidic can form calcium oxalate crystals. A balanced urinary pH occurs just by eating multiple high-protein small meals throughout the day. When cats are given a water-depleted diet such as kibble, which is on average 5 to 10% moisture only, minerals can build up in their bladder from not passing fluids as frequently as it should. This creates hyper-concentrated urine, leading to urinary crystals and blockages in the urethra. When providing a species-appropriate diet, that is, consists of 70 to 80% moisture, this will greatly support your cat's renal system. Now, no matter what brand or price, all kibble is based on carbs. But you've checked the protein amount on the analysis list on the back of the bag, and it seems high, like, what, 35%? Well, here's another trick used to up that protein percentage, but still be cheap to produce. Did you know that many of the high protein kibbles that you often pay a heck of a lot more for are based on high plant-based proteins like peas, legumes, beets or soy? And these plant-based proteins are just as hard for your cat to digest and metabolize. A heck of a lot of cat food out there uses soy as its main ingredient. It's cheaper than meat and fulfills the need for a carbohydrate to hold the kibble together. But here's the kicker. Soy has been proven to disrupt thyroid production, leading to all sorts of other illnesses. Skip the soy. So, in summary, cats fed on a dry kibble are in a constant state of dehydration due to its low moisture content. Meat contains about 75% moisture, whereas kibble contains less than 10. This leads to all those urinary tract illnesses and kidney diseases. Cats eating a high carbohydrate diet are putting their bodies under constant stress and exposing them to diabetes and obesity. Most cats are not fed enough protein, and it's the wrong type of proteins like soy, causing all sorts of problems with their thyroids, a key player in your cat's overall health and wellness. So what should they be eating? A diet consisting of meat and organs and absolutely no carbohydrates, including things like sweet potato, grains or soy. Skip the veggies and go straight for real meat. Tinned wet food is by far a better choice than that bag of kibble. Their need for moisture and proteins will be met 10 times over in comparison to that bag of dry food. Just check for added carbs. Ditch the kibble. Your cat will thank you for it, and you'll have less letterbox duties to perform. Hey, welcome back. Audrey here, animal nutritionist from chica+co. There are so many reasons to make your cat's meals instead of feeding them dry kibble or wet tin food. Two biggest ones are the price and the long-term health of your pet. So today I'm going to show you how easy it is to make a balanced, nutrient-packed homemade recipe I guarantee your cat will devour. Oh yeah, and stick around to the end and I'll share with you our free raw cat food cheat sheet that you can stick on your fridge for easier reference. Yep, freebie! I have done several videos on why dry food diets are in fact dangerous to feed long term, as well as a video on how to transition your cat from dry to fresh foods. Both are linked below. But here you are, still watching, so I guess you understand the whys and just want to get to the next step, the how-tos, to make balanced meals for your furry friend. Let's get to it. The first step is to weigh your cat. Didn't see that one coming, didn't you? You need to know how much your cat weighs to determine how much they should be eating daily. It varies from cat to cat, activity levels and age. As a general rule, adult cats, that is over 9 months of age, should be eating between 2 and 4% of their current body weight per day. Here's a handy cheat sheet for reference with the maths done for you, covering off cats ranging from weight from 2 kilos to 8 kilos. There's a 2% daily total, the 3% and the 4% daily total amounts. For today's recipe, I'll be making a meal for my adult cat, that is cat with a K, who is a total couch potato and weighs 5 kilos. Cat with a K, this one's for you. Hey, if you're enjoying and learning from what we're talking about today, please like and subscribe. It makes a huge difference to our channel. So you can see here, she should be eating 2% of her body weight, which is around 100 grams. Remember, she weighs 5 kilos. Now, I just need to mention here that every cat is different. They're all at different life stages and activity levels, and the weather seasons change things up as well. During winter, my cat burns more calories to maintain her body temperature. Therefore, I increase the amount she eats accordingly, up to 3%. This is a guide only. Monitor your cat's body condition and energy levels. If they're becoming a chunky monkey, reduce the amount of food. And likewise, if they're far too thin, increase it. I need to reiterate, this recipe isn't the only thing you should feed your cat for the rest of its life. But it's a great starter recipe during the transition phase, as it's pretty much the same texture as wet tin food. So let's begin. Now, the key to feeding balanced meals for your cat is a term we like to call Frankensteining. We are trying to recreate what wild felines naturally would eat in the wild by Frankensteining different animal parts together to loosely mimic a prey animal's body. So I'm making 100 grams worth of food today for a meal for my 5-kilo cat. So you can see the formula and amounts easily. But by far the better way to make this food is in bulk and freeze it in appropriate sized containers. My cat's containers hold the perfect amount for 300 grams of food, so 3 days worth. Make sure you defrost these containers in the fridge and discard any leftovers after 3 days, and always do the sniff test. To build a balanced diet, you simply need to follow this easy formula. The largest percentage is bonus meat, making up 55% of this mix. These include meats from beef, venison, chicken, pork, lamb, kangaroo, rabbit, goats, quail, turkey, water buffalo, camel, and fish. The next bit is where people get a bit confused. It's boneless muscular organs, making up 25% of the mix. What's the difference? Muscular organs are heart, lungs, tongue, tendons, trachea, that's the throat, green tripe, pizzle, it's the willy, uterus and intestines. All organs, yes, but they are the muscular type. That is, they move things through the body. Next up is a vital, albeit tiny percentage of the meal, offal, secreting organs. That is, organs that secrete something. The most important one is liver. You only need to weigh out 2% as it's a nutrient-dense powerhouse. Choose liver from the bonus meat proteins I've already mentioned. Feed a variety, as every animal liver has different nutrient values. Now, for the other types of offal, or organs, the secreting and non-secreting ones making up 8% only. These are kidney, brain, pancreas, spleen, eyeballs, testicles and ovaries. You can feed only one a day, or you can feed a mixture. The key is to balance it over time. Mix them up and don't just stick with one or two types. Now, raw meaty bones make up 10% of the recommended daily amount. And these are the soft edible bones like chicken necks, chicken wing tips or chicken feet, whole quail, small animals. Stick around and I'll share with you our free resource guide so all the stress of remembering this formula is gone. You can stick it on your fridge for reference and it's free. Okay, so this is all of the ingredients that we're using today. We've got our beef mince, our pork mince, our sardines in spring water, some green-leg mussels, some gorgeous free-range eggs, some chicken hearts, some lamb kidneys, chicken livers, chicken wing tips, chicken necks, little vitamin E, and some organic seaweed. And that's what we're using today. Okay, so the first thing we do is we pop our bowl on the scales like that, and we're going to be using minced beef for the first part of the formula. I always get the 80-20 ratio to fat to meat, as fats are your cat's fuel. We're going to start with the base of the meal, the muscle meats, and muscle meat is what makes up most of the prey body. So let's first add in the beef. This is 30 grams worth. I like using minced meats in beginner recipes because it has similar texture to canned foods, and the chance of your cat rejecting it due to the texture will be much lower than, say, chunks of meat. And let's face it, it's just easy. So 30 grams, in we go. Red meats are great to feed because they provide a lot of iron and a lot of B vitamins. Your cat needs iron and B vitamins in their diet so their organs and metabolism can function properly. So I always include at least one red meat in Cat with a K's meals. But there is a slight problem. There's one vitamin all cats have a crazy high requirement for that red meats just don't have enough of. And that's vitamin B1 or thiamine. Cats need a lot of thiamine in their diet, but luckily there's one meat that's higher in it than others, and that is, surprisingly, pork. It's actually a staple in all of our dogs' diets as well because of how nutrient dense it really is. Okay, so I'm going to tear it off again. So it's 0. Next up is the 25 grams of pork. I'm just doing a single serve like this so you can see the ratios. 25, 26, beautiful. Okay. If you don't want to feed pork and you really want to boost those thiamine levels, you can add half a teaspoon of nutritional yeast, which will easily meet thiamine needs. I've popped a link below so you can easily source this supplement if you wanted to do this. Now, let's move on to the muscular organs. These are organs that are actually a muscle. They've got a job to do in a body that's mechanical. A lot of people think that these organs should fall under the offal percentage of the diet. This is not the case, even though technically they are organs. Muscular organs are what the name suggests, an organ that has a job, and they're actually a muscle. They do nothing else than to move things through the animal's body. Confused? Stick with me. Muscular organs are heart, pumps blood, lungs that move and process air, tongue, a muscle that moves food, tendons that act like rubber bands holding the skeleton together, trachea, it's a muscle that swallows food, green stripe, that's the lining of the stomach that processes nutrients. All these muscular organs have complex vitamin and mineral compositions, different from the traditional muscle meats like rump or chuck, chicken breast and so on. So the takeout here is to always feed heart in one form or another as part of the muscular organ component. Chicken hearts are the cheapest and the most perfect size for cats. So that's in 25 grams, which happens to be 2 hearts. Up to 50. Yeah, close enough. There we go. Beautiful. Next is the raw meaty bone component, which keeps your cat's bones strong and their teeth clean. Raw bones are also the only animal part which provides enough calcium and magnesium, which are crucial to the diet. Now, feeding bones may sound scary, but remember, we're trying to mimic a prey animal, Frankensteining, so as long as you never feed cooked bones and stick to the right size meaty bones like these chicken wing tips, they're perfectly safe to feed. So for this recipe, all we need to do is add 10 grams of chicken necks or a chicken wing tip. Both are easy to find at supermarkets or your butcher, and they're perfect sized for cats and great for scraping the tartar off their teeth. Oh, and they're super cheap. Yay. Now, if your cat simply refuses to eat bones, don't panic. There are some really good bone supplements out there on the market. I'm not adding one today into the mix, as I know my cat loves her bones. But here is one that I recommend, and it's linked below. Use this instead and follow the feeding instructions. Now, just a quick note on calcium supplements. As with everything, they're not all created equal. Calcium carbonate can be found in many sources. In fact, it can be synthesized in a lab. But it is always first preference to source a supplement that is derived from an animal source. Check to make sure this is the case. As you can see here, ours is made from 100% eggshells, and the other one that I've recommended is made from bovine cow bones. This one in comparison is made from organic plant matter. Cats are obligate carnivores, not plant eaters. The plant-derived calcium is fine to feed your cat, and they will extract as much as they possibly can from it. But animal-based calcium also comes with many other trace minerals, and it's easier for your cat to metabolise. Okay, I'm going to tear it off again. So it's a 0. Now, the next ingredient provides 2 nutrients that are virtually impossible to get elsewhere. Secreting organs like liver are a carnivore's natural multivitamin because they're a concentrated vitamin and mineral powerhouse. This recipe or formula calls for 2 grams of liver. I like using beef liver or other ruminant animal liver like lamb or pork because they're much higher in copper than poultry, that is chicken or turkey. And as you can see, a tiny little bit goes a long way. There we go, 2 grams. Perfect, spot on. Next, we need to add at least 1 other secreting organ meat. What are secreting organs, I hear you ask? Well, simply put, they are the other organs that also have a job. Theirs are, not surprisingly, to secrete a substance to help digest foods, filter out nutrients, or create bile, like in the pancreas, for example. A prey animal has many secreting organs in their body, like the pancreas, the spleen, the brain, and many more, but sometimes it's tough to find many of these at your local supermarket, so I tend to shop at my local Asian butcher. If you don't have an international butcher nearby, I'm going to make this super simple for you guys today. This is all supermarket found. I'm adding one of the most common secreting organ meats you can find here, lamb kidney, which is a great iron and B vitamin booster. This recipe calls for 8 grams. Okay, in we go with the 8 grams. So there we go. Now, the next ingredient may be a little bit tricky to source, but without it, your cat may not be getting enough manganese in their diet, which is crucial joint and tissue supporting nutrient. What is it, I hear you ask? Greenlet mussels from New Zealand. You can buy Chilean greenlet mussels, but the manganese levels are much, much lower than these New Zealand grown ones. All we need is a single one for that added amazing boost. These have just been steamed. Let's pop that in there. Perfect. Now, these might sound hard to find, but you can find frozen steamed mussels at local seafood markets or in supermarkets. Just make sure you go for the plain ones. Do not feed the ones that are marinated or flavoured in any way. You can buy manganese supplements, but I'm all about whole feeding, not supplemental feeding. Don't stress out if you can't find these though. Supplements will do the job for you. So to make it nutritionally complete, we need to add a few more whole food ingredients. Sardines provide an ample amount of omega-3s, which are vital for your cat's skin and coat health, and also vitamin D, which is needed for proper bone health. Canned sardines are easy to find in most stores and also very cheap. Just be sure to only get the ones packed in spring water with no added salt or sodium. Okay, 20 grams on the tear. We don't need to total it off again. So all we need is 10 grams of sardines canned in water, spring water. If you've done the maths now and gone, what the hell is she talking about? We've just added another 10 grams to the 100 gram base mix. Yep, you do have wiggle room with this formula. Sometimes I like to add sardines, sometimes I like to add a raw egg instead, both the yolk and the white part. The base formula is great, but the addition of either these take it to the next level. So another 10 grams. There we go. Up to 30, a little bit more. Again, this is incredibly fiddly, but I just wanted to show you the ratios next to each other. There we go, 30 grams. The first one is seaweed, and in this recipe I'm using this brand, which is very concentrated in the mineral iodine, which can be very low in raw fed diets, and cats need it as it's vital for their overall health. Low iodine causes poor cat coat quality and thyroid issues. In kittens it's worse, as a lack of this mineral causes skeletal deformities and skin lesions. The other bonus for me is this is sourced from King Island, just off the Tasmanian coast, my hometown. This recipe only needs about 1/8 of a scoop. This is included in the container. I've linked this product below for you. It's the smallest amount. There we go. Let's give that a sprinkle. 1/8. In it goes. The last ingredient is actually the only non-whole food item in this is vitamin E oil. I'm using human-grade supplements for a couple of reasons. Vitamins like vitamin E, fish oils, primrose oils, and so on oxidize as soon as they hit the air. These guys are packed in gelatin capsules for this reason, to keep the air out and stop them from going rancid. The pet grade vitamin E oils are packaged in pump packs and, you guessed it, turn rancid very, very quickly. Not to mention, in almost all cases, they are synthetic oils, not derived from natural sources to keep their costs down. Stick with human supplements like these and you'll have no problems. Simply cut the capsule in half. Look for the lower strength capsules. You don't need 1,000 milligrams per day. You simply would be wasting your money. And voila, cut that one in half. Pop it over the meal. They can eat the capsule as well, as it's full of gelatin, so there's nothing wrong with that. Just squirt on the side there. Pop that over. And there you have, voila, a meal fit for a cat or king or queen. And that's it. Oh, okay, wait, I almost forgot about the free raw feeding cheat sheet I promised at the beginning of this video. In this cheat sheet, I give you the simple formula, a list of meats, organs and bones, and the amounts to correctly feed your cat. So you can be certain you're creating the best damn balanced meals all the time. The link for this one is also below, and don't forget to stick it on your fridge. If you've got any questions or comments, please pop them below. I'll do my best to answer each and every one of you.